Get comfortable with English and Comfort Zone. This is your English listening practice podcast to help you learn and improve naturally.
Welcome to English in Comfort Zone. I'm Ariana.
And I'm Ken. This is the podcast that helps you learn English the way it's actually spoken.
Today, we're talking about something that frustrates almost every language learner out there: how to actually start making real progress with your English.
Exactly. Because let's be honest, there's a difference between studying English and actually becoming fluent in it.
So true. I remember my Spanish learning days: textbooks everywhere, flashcards on my phone, grammar websites bookmarked. But I still couldn't order a coffee without freezing up.
I've been there too. That's why today we're sharing our 5 daily English habits that actually work. Not complicated methods, not expensive courses, just simple daily practices that will transform your English.
And if you've been feeling stuck or overwhelmed, this episode is especially for you. Let's break it down into steps anyone can follow.
Ready to change your English forever? Let's jump in.
But before we dive in, I want you to know something important. Feeling frustrated with your progress is totally normal. Everyone goes through it.
Absolutely. Learning a language isn't a straight line. It's more like hiking up a mountain with lots of ups and downs along the way.
The key is to stop thinking about perfection and start focusing on progress. Even small daily improvements add up to amazing results over time.
And that's exactly what these 5 habits are all about: consistent, enjoyable progress that actually sticks.
The first habit is all about reading materials you actually enjoy. Forget textbooks for a moment. What interests you? Sports, cooking, movies?
Exactly. The problem most learners have is they think they need to read boring material to improve. That's just not true.
Here's what to do. Find 20 minutes each day, maybe during breakfast or before bed, and read something in English that you'd read in your native language.
And here's our secret tip: don't look up every word you don't understand. Try to guess the meaning from context. This builds your natural language intuition.
Think about how children learn languages. They don't stop to check dictionaries. They absorb meaning from context.
Start with easier materials like news summaries or blogs, then gradually move to more complex articles or books as you improve.
And remember, consistency beats intensity. 20 minutes daily is much better than 2 hours once a week.
I've seen so many learners get stuck in this trap. They study intensely for hours one day, then nothing for weeks. It just doesn't work that way.
Right. Your brain needs regular exposure to form those neural pathways. That's why short, daily reading works so well.
And don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Understanding 70 to 80% is perfect. That's the sweet spot where you're learning without getting overwhelmed.
Try reading something you already know about in your native language. The familiar context makes new vocabulary easier to pick up naturally.
Habit number 2 is what we call active listening, and it's completely different from what most people do.
Most language learners just put on English content in the background while doing other things. That's passive listening, and it's not very effective.
Active listening means giving your full attention to what you're hearing, even if it's just for 15 minutes.
Here's how to do it. Choose a short clip, maybe from a YouTube video, a podcast like this one, or even a movie scene.
First, listen without subtitles and try to understand the main ideas.
Then listen again, this time with English subtitles if you need them.
Finally, try to repeat what you heard. Mimic the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, and tone.
This trains your brain to process English the way native speakers do. It also helps your mouth get used to making English sounds correctly.
The key is choosing content that's just slightly above your current level, challenging enough to learn from, but not so difficult that you get discouraged.
Exactly. Try this for just 15 minutes daily, and you'll be amazed at how quickly your listening skills improve.
Let me share a quick story from one of our listeners, Maria from Brazil. She struggled with understanding fast English speakers for years.
Then she started using this active listening technique with just 10 minutes of news clips each morning. After 3 weeks, she noticed a huge difference.
The trick is focusing on different elements each time you listen. First time, just get the gist. Second time, focus on specific vocabulary. Third time, Pay attention to pronunciation and intonation.
And don't just listen to perfect, formal English. Listen to real conversations with natural speech patterns, pauses, and fillers like, and That's how people actually talk.
Now for probably the most important habit, speaking every single day.
This is where most learners struggle. They wait until they feel ready to speak. But here's the truth, you'll never feel completely ready.
The secret is to start speaking now, even if you make mistakes. Actually, especially if you make mistakes.
Here's what most teachers won't tell you: mistakes are valuable. They show you exactly what you need to work on.
But what if you don't have anyone to practice with? No problem.
Try these solo speaking activities. Describe your day out loud while getting ready in the morning. Record yourself answering simple questions. Read text messages or news headlines aloud.
Or use your phone to record yourself telling a story or explaining something you learned today.
Then listen back. You'll notice your own mistakes and areas for improvement.
And for those ready to take it further, use language exchange apps to find speaking partners or join virtual conversation groups.
The point is, speak English every day, even if it's just talking to yourself for 5 minutes. Your confidence will grow faster than you can imagine.
This reminds me of Carlos from Mexico. He was so nervous about speaking that he'd studied English for 7 years but could barely introduce himself.
What changed for him?
He started recording himself for just 3 minutes every morning, describing his plans for the day, what he ate for breakfast, simple stuff. After a month, he could speak for 10 minutes without stopping.
That's amazing progress. And speaking actually builds different neural pathways than reading or listening. Your brain needs practice producing language, not just receiving it.
Exactly. And here's another fun technique. Have imaginary conversations. Pick a topic and pretend you're talking with someone. Answer questions, explain your opinions, make arguments.
I used to do this all the time. I'd pretend I was on a talk show being interviewed in English. My roommates thought I was crazy, but it worked.
Our fourth habit is about creating your own English bubble wherever you are.
This is the game changer that most language courses never mention. Your environment shapes your learning more than any study method.
Start by changing the language settings on your phone, social media, and digital devices to English.
Follow social media accounts about topics you love, but only those that post in English.
Create playlists of English songs you actually enjoy and pay attention to the lyrics.
Put sticky notes around your home with English words for everyday objects.
The goal is to make English a natural part of your daily environment, not just something you study.
And here's a bonus tip: try thinking in English during simple daily activities. When you're shopping, name the items you see in English. When you're cooking, narrate the steps to yourself in English.
You'll be surprised how quickly this habit trains your brain to process English automatically without translating from your native language first.
I still remember when I was learning Japanese. I started labeling everything in my apartment: refrigerator, door, window, chair.
Did it work?
Absolutely. After a few weeks, I stopped translating those words in my head. I'd just see the object and the Japanese word would pop into my mind directly.
That's exactly what we want to happen with English. And you can take this even further. Set challenges for yourself like today, I'll think about my lunch in English, or I'll mentally describe 5 people I see on my commute.
The beauty of this habit is that it turns ordinary moments into language practice. Waiting in line? Perfect time to describe your surroundings in English. Stuck in traffic? Narrate a story about your day. Our final habit is about making emotional connections with English.
Learning facts about a language is one thing, but feeling comfortable expressing yourself is something totally different.
Try keeping a simple daily journal in English. Just 3 to 5 sentences about your day, your feelings, or your thoughts.
Don't worry about perfect grammar. Focus on expressing real thoughts and emotions.
This creates a personal relationship with English. It becomes your language, not just something you're studying.
And try this powerful exercise. Choose an emotion each day: happiness, frustration, excitement, and learn phrases to express that feeling naturally.
For example, instead of just saying, "I'm happy," you might say, "I'm over the moon," or "I'm thrilled about this."
This builds your emotional vocabulary, which is what makes you sound natural in conversations.
And these emotional connections help the language stick in your memory much better than traditional studying.
I learned this technique from a polyglot friend who speaks 7 languages fluently. He said the moment he started journaling about his feelings in each language, his fluency skyrocketed.
That makes perfect sense. When you connect language with emotions, you're activating different parts of your brain, making those neural connections stronger.
Plus, it makes the whole learning process more personal and meaningful. You're not just memorizing words, you're using language to express who you really are.
One listener told us she writes 3 things she's grateful for in English every morning. Just 3 simple sentences, but it's completely changed her relationship with the language.
I love that. And you can adapt this to your interests too. Write about your favorite hobby, describe characters from a TV show you love, or even create short stories. Now, we know what you're thinking. These sound great, but how do I actually make them part of my routine?
That's the $1 million question. The trick is to attach these habits to things you already do daily. For example, read during breakfast, listen actively during your commute, speak English while showering, change your phone settings once and forget about it, write your journal before bed, and most importantly, start small. Even 5 minutes of each habit is better than nothing.
Track your progress with a simple habit app or calendar. Seeing your streak of days will motivate you to keep going.
Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about consistency.
And don't try to do everything at once. Maybe start with just 2 habits this week, then add another next week.
The beauty of these habits is they work together. Each one reinforces the others.
Exactly. And before you know it, you'll be thinking and speaking in English naturally without the mental translation step that slows most learners down.
So, which habit will you start with today?
Let us know in the comments or on our social media. We'd love to hear your experiences.
That's all for today's episode of English in Comfort Zone. Next week, we'll be talking about how to sound more like a native speaker with natural expressions.
Until then, keep practicing and remember progress happens outside your comfort zone.
Before we wrap up, I want to share something that's helped me personally with building these language habits.
What's that?
Setting up a clear environment. For example, I have a specific coffee mug I only use during my English reading time. Just seeing that mug triggers my brain. Oh, it's English time now.
That's brilliant. These environmental cues are so powerful. Another tip is to set specific times for each habit. Even put them in your calendar like important meetings.
And remember to celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Did you read in English for 3 days straight? That's worth celebrating. Spoke to a stranger in English? Amazing.
The journey to fluency isn't about reaching some distant destination. It's about enjoying the process of improvement each day.
Bye for now.
See you next time.
Before we go, let's review some useful words from today's episode.
Fluent, able to speak a language easily and accurately. Intuition, understanding something instinctively without conscious reasoning. Mimic, to copy someone's speech or actions. Consistency, the quality of always behaving in the same way. Narrate, to tell a story or describe events as they happen. Over the moon, extremely happy or delighted. Streak, a continuous series of days doing something. Mental translation, the process of changing words from one language to another in your mind.
Try using these words this week in your English practice.
Actually, let's add a few more useful terms that can help you on your language journey.
Immersion, surrounding yourself completely with a language to learn naturally. Fluency, speaking smoothly without stopping to think about words. Comprehension, understanding what you hear or read. Native speaker, someone who has spoken a language since early childhood. Colloquial, informal language used in everyday conversation. Idiom, a phrase that means something different from its literal meaning.
If you can use just one of these words in your practice this week, you're already making progress.
And if you're enjoying our podcast, please share it with friends who are also learning English. Together, we can create a supportive community of learners.
Thanks for listening to English in Comfort Zone. Subscribe for a new episode every Wednesday.
Until next time, stay comfortable with your English journey.